Hi, I'm glad you're here with me again. It's so enjoyable getting your emails. Thank you very much. And to you, my friend in Portugal, and my friend in Queensland, Australia, thank you for all your notes. They're fun to read, and I hope you are getting better at your painting. The very first time I ever painted was in a high school, just an evening class, and the lady taught us how to paint by using a wet on wet technique. And that just means that you wet the canvas before you start. Now, there is a special paint that you can buy that's a very smooth flowing, it feels like house paint. And it comes in a couple of different brands. I haven't used that in so long, I'm not sure of the brands, but it sure makes painting easy. So what I'm going to do today is take white paint, which is what is normally used as that undertone, and but they have it as like, it feels like house paint. So I'm going to make some white paint feel like house paint and then paint some other colors into it. Enjoy. I've undertoned my canvas in a peach tone for the reason that when I have mostly blue in the picture, I use the complement right across the color wheel. So that if I had a lot of purple flowers in the picture, I would use a yellow ochre. If I had a lot of green, I would tend to use a little red tone. So perhaps burnt sienna and white, so it'd make it more or less of an apricot. All right, I'm going to start with a 1-inch brush, and I'm going to put water. This is a bowl of plain water. So I'm going to take that and water the whole canvas down. Just put water down the whole canvas. There, now the whole canvas is wet. Now I'm going to take some white, and this white, when you use acrylics, it's really, it's much smoother and easy to go on than an oil painting. Now you say, why did I undertone if I'm going to cover it with white? But some of this white will go away when I add other colors. Just a small amount of cerulean, that's the lighter blue, and start up here in the corner. Now notice what happens. Because I've used the white, it's already made a beautiful sky, just like that. I didn't even have to work at it. So that's what's so wonderful about a wet on wet technique. Now I can make it more complicated with clouds, but because we're just pushing for the wet on wet technique today, let's keep moving with that idea rather than trying to make a bunch of detail. All right, now I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, which is the deeper blue, and I'm going to start the ocean like this. But because I have the white, take a look. You see what it did? Incidentally, the ocean does not have waves out at the horizon line. And another way to solve whether the ocean is straight or not, because I tend to make it higher on one side than the other. If I take my brush like this and put my thumb here at the top and I go from here over to here, I can already see that I'm low on this side. So I need to just raise that. Okay, again, it's just moving towards the shore. Now I take some violet, and again I'm still working with that white tone. So it smooths everything in because it helps go back and forth with the blue tones, the purple tones, the viridian tones, and I'm just grabbing a little bit of all of those and putting it in like this. It comes to the shoreline, a little bit more purple. Now, because it's right next to the shore, we call this white water, and I grab some white and I just gently, my brush is just lilting across the top. It's barely touching, and I'm just making little ripples like this. Oh, it's so hard. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow under some of this wave here. Come over here a little bit, just a little small wave there. Remember, as they go in the background, they get smaller. They are not the same size. The farther back you go, the littler they get as they get close to the horizon. Gets a little bit deeper behind the wave so we can see the wave. Water comes into the shore. Okay, now I'm going to take, again, some white here, expand the beach. The beach came over to here, and I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre to that beach, this way, right up to the edge of the purple. And I'm going to add a little bit of this reddish tone, it's called reddish yellow, because the beach, to make the complement of the purple and all, that adds to a lot of the color. And I mean, this really took a lot of brushes. I realize that. I'm working very hard at this. Okay, you're just coming along like this. The Viridian and Alizarin Crimson, we'll keep that shade dark. And you dance the brush, just dance the brush, and it's got to have some dark tones because the dark is what's underneath the plant. And if you don't have the dark there, then anything you do, if you put the dark later, it's going to sit on top of the flowers. Well, you don't want it to sit on top of the flowers. It's got to look like it's a shadow underneath the flowers. So we just go along like that. All right, that gives us some of the base, and if we're just following along with this picture just for the heck of it, we're going to put some greenery here. I'm not going to try and make all the detail in this. The main thing is to show you how the wet and wet technique works. If I add a house, well, it looks a little different right now than it did a few minutes ago because I just let the elves work on it. Not really. I just took a little break and did it fast forward because we don't have time to take every little piece of leaf and do it for you. So what I've done though is in that same approach, just move the plants across, and then when you make flowers, you don't have to make every single flower and worry about it. If you're making little poppies, you take a little red and a little yellow, and you simply make a little V like this. And most plants come from one central source. So you make sure that your plant is in a V and it comes out this way like a bouquet. You plant a seed and it comes out like a plant. Usually underneath it's dark, so along the bottom we want to grab some dark blue, dark green, and dark red, and that will make what's called an artist black. If you can see that as I'm painting, it makes a nice dark foil for underneath some of those bright colors. Then what I want to do, I don't want to have all of those plants be single dots. So I want to group them together in a cluster so that if I had purple here, I let my brush dance, but I don't let it leave the canvas, so that all those look like individual flowers, but they are still hooked together so that I don't end up with a bunch of polka dots. Isn't that beautiful how that turns out? Now this would be the little white alyssum along the edge of this garden. And I can add other colors. It's just going to be a fabulous little garden. Again, I don't let my brush leave the canvas. I just keep moving it along. All right, if I add a little shadow here on the beach area, I'm just going to put a little shadow here next to the plants. Like that. That just makes it a little bit more interesting, finishes it off. And then you can just add a variety of plants, whatever you want. A tree. Come up here like this, wider at the trunk. Make a few branches. Like that. I'm going to grab some green and just pull down. I'm simply going to pull down like this We're not trying to make a Renoir painting. We're trying to have fun and learn how to make something that looks like a painting. You can get more complicated the more advanced you become. But these are fun, and look at the short time we've taken to make it. Well, to finish this off, what I'm going to do is make a little sailboat here. I want to flatten each edge of my brush. I'm going to flatten it like this, flatten and flatten. So now I have a point. So I'm going to bring the point starting at the top and pull down and make it wider at the bottom with a little puff at the bottom that makes the hull of the boat here, here, just like that. Isn't that fun? All right, now if I wanted to add birds, all I will need to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a blue next to the white, and I will start up above, and again I flatten my brush, so I'll make a little line like that, and I come up about 1/16 of an inch, and again slightly curve the wing this way. Now at the end of each wing, I put just a little bit of dark, such as this way, this way, and this way, this way, this way, and this way. If the bird were light, or if it were gray, then my end pieces would be in white. All right, underneath the sailboat, you can have a little bit more dark, as if there was some water rolling by. You can make a few more lines coming in here if you like. I think of Zorro, the Z's for Zorro. Well, did you follow along with me? It's so much fun when you just water down the canvas and you put that white on, and everything else just flows into it. And you'll get a pretty good idea on the rest. I really hope you try it. Check in with me soon. See you soon. Bye.